I'd like to share a story of a little lioness. I was about 6 years old, holding a glass of milk in my hand, all dressed up, ready to go to school, and my parents were in a rush to go to work. All of a sudden, I dropped that glass of milk. Milk was all on the floor. I was frightened. I knew I was going to get smacked. What I didn't know is that event would set up a chain of events that would shape my future. It would create a belief that would limit me in the future. I'd love to share more about that story. For now, let's fast forward to 2011. I was born and raised in India. In 2011, I got married and moved to Australia. I was so excited, starting a whole new chapter in my life. I was excited at the same time nervous. I didn't know anyone but my husband, but I was so excited to a whole new adventure. So I came here to Perth, Western Australia, and without much struggle, I found my first job. It was in a beautiful small recruitment company. I was so excited and so pumped. So in the beginning, it was fantastic. I used to walk in and everyone used to speak their lingo, and I tried really hard to fit in. And people said things like, "I'll see you this Arvo." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then I would go off and Google what that meant. Slowly, I tried to fit in. And I remember this incident. In the beginning, my boss was really friendly and very loving and caring. But slowly, I started seeing a different side to her. One moment she would say, "How was your weekend?" And then the next moment she would just snap for no reason. I'm not talking about discrimination here. And it was not just because I was Indian. It was her nature. She did that with everybody. In the beginning, I used to smile, but I used to get scared. Slowly, I started losing my confidence. Out of fear, I stopped speaking up at work. I clearly remember walking out of the office, standing close to the bus station. I was looking at people and smiling, but inside, I was feeling so lost, stuck, and powerless. As I left that bus station and went right in front of the train station. I remember it was a crowded evening. There were so many people outside. The train doors opened. I was literally pushed into the train because of the crowd. I was standing by the pole, holding the pole, looking at people around me. Tears were rolling down my eyes. I was surrounded with so many people, but I felt so lonely. People were looking at me. I was thinking in my head, what is it? Is something wrong with me? Is it me? Are they judging me? Or is it my curly hair? Jokes apart, I felt with so many people surrounded by me, I felt I was sitting in a corner, all crawled up, in a dark room, having no hope whatsoever. I had so much of fear within me, and I'd lost all my confidence. I resigned that job. I promised myself I'm never going to let this happen again, and moved on to my next role. Guess what? New job, different boss, same story. It just got worse. The belittling comments, the offensive behavior from my previous boss, it just got worse to this one. The gaslighting, I felt like I'm constantly walking on eggshells. I didn't know when the next bomb is going to drop. I remember with my next job, in the beginning, it was great. And as all these things started piling up and it getting worse, it hit my confidence big time. I remember it was around Christmas time. I came home from a really exhausting day from work, giving my 120% at work. So tired. I walked into the house and where my husband and my daughter were playing in the pool. They were having so much fun. I remember walking down the pool, standing in front of them, looking at them, looking through them. My mind was completely blank and I was filled with fear and anxiety. Thoughts were running a million miles an hour. And my trust, I wouldn't even trust my own shadow. I had so much, I felt so insecure and unsafe. I didn't feel I could speak to anyone. I felt that the whole world was against me. You know, sometimes in life, the situation keeps repeating itself until you learn the lesson. Remember that little girl, little lioness? That milk incident was a defining moment for me. I was scared of making mistakes because I believed if I make mistakes, I'm a failure and I won't be loved and liked. And mind you, this is not a conscious thought you run. 10% of what comes out is from your conscious mind. 90% is in your subconscious mind. So when this incident occurred again of being, because of the feelings I felt, I knew there was something that had to change, and that something had to be within me. And that's when I started on my own healing journey. And when I got coached, I realized the relationship I had with mistakes, I changed that. Making mistakes is how I learn and grow. At work, I started accepting when I made mistakes, and I started owning it. I started taking my power back. I started, if somebody came in and tried to intimidate me or use those tricks, what they did in the past, it wouldn't work on me anymore. Because I knew where it was coming from, my internal world. And I was on this journey to have my own back. So I started, if people questioned or pointed out of me making mistakes, I investigated it, I questioned it, I went to the root cause of problems. And I realized that the systems and the way we were doing things could be improved, could be changed. It was no longer on me. It was more about improving the systems and procedures at work. Things started getting better. As things started progressing, I was slowly gaining confidence. And then things started going downhill again. I worked part-time, doing a full-time job. The relationship with my boss and I was really not okay. And it got to a point where I had to speak up. So I spoke to my HR and I wanted to raise a complaint. But the fear felt so real. I would rather resign the job and run away than speak up. I remember walking out of the office, standing below a tree, trying to write an email, raising my concerns about my manager. It took me 4 hours to raise my concerns, and I don't even think I made any sense when I look back at it. The day arrived when I had to meet my manager. I would rather resign than speak up. Fear felt so real, so real. I felt I was going to die if I speak my truth. I took the courage with help of another coach, and I spoke my truth. And this time, I addressed the problems. I came up with solutions on how this can be resolved so this doesn't happen again to other employees. When I spoke up, I was in shock. I realized that fear is illusional. It's not true. I was so proud of myself, so freaking proud of myself. And then I started studying coaching about human behavior, about healing, about the human mind, about how things work, nervous system. The more I learned, the more aha moments I had. When I did my personality test, I realized my strength is in, I'm a people's person, and I was doing a process-oriented job. No wonder I felt drained every time I got home. One thing I want to share. This is a quote by Einstein. Everyone is a genius. Every single person is a genius. But if you judge the fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. I realized I was a genius. I just didn't know what I was good at. That made all the sense. Me doing I won't say analytical. Me doing a job which was process driven used to drain me out. Because what I was good at is people, is building relationship, is connection with people, getting things done, coming from a place of heart, helping others. I was doing a job which was to do with computers. Then I realized it was time for me to move on. I resigned, middle of pandemic, not having a backup plan. I truly wanted to help and heal that Suhani who felt stuck, powerless, and lonely in that situation. I wanted to help her. I'd done so much of my inner work on myself, so much at this point of time. And I thought I'd nailed it. Then I went to one of the speakers' training. That's when I remembered why I had this relationship of making mistakes, why I had this passion, this belief about me that I am a mistake, that it's my fault, and why I was pleasing. I was a people pleaser, and I was scared so much of authority. It all came true. It wasn't the milk. It wasn't the rest of the events. It was the abuse. When I was a child, things happened to me which was not okay by someone who I trusted so deeply. What could I do? How could I trust anyone else? I thought I was at fault. I thought I was the mistake. This really hit me with a ton of bricks. This made me realize where my fear of speaking up was coming from. Why my self-esteem was out of the window. And why I felt like I was so scared of authorities. And then I got the courage and spoke my truth. I looked into this person's eye and I said, what you did was not okay. I can never forget that day. No wonder I felt all those things at work and with people. Me speaking my truth, me letting that person know that it wasn't okay, was the biggest biggest fear I've overcome. And I'm so grateful to all the people in my journey who've helped me do that. More importantly, I have forgiven myself and that person for what happened in my life. This is my journey from being powerless to being an influencer, to influence my own thinking, to influence my own being, to influence who I am and what I want to be today in this world. I would love to leave this with you. My message is everyone has the right to feel safe. Feeling safe is an inside-out job. Yes, things happen. People do things. Yes, it's not okay. But you know what? Everyone, no matter how painful your past is, you can heal from the past. You can choose a new story. You can decide that you, my friend, are in control to write a whole new future. Build a limitless life of potential. Be bold, be brave, be unapologetically you.